Welcome back. The Lions have not won here in Minneapolis since 1997. Vikings with 12 consecutive home wins against Detroit. Lions have also lost their last 21 games on the road. Lions have won the toss. Stephon Logan back deep. Ryan Longwell gets things started. It's Logan from the 9. Cuts to the outside, spins across the 30, and finally tackled at the 33-yard line. A 24-yard return. Asher Allen made the tackle. So the former Viking, Shawn Hill, spent his first 4 NFL seasons here in Minnesota. Starting once again today, Darryl, for the injured Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, and he's done a good job filling in as that backup quarterback. One of the interesting things that Shawn told us was they've acquired enough talent. We talked about this roster. They can play matchup style. They can look for some matchups on the outside. They like, here comes Javid Best outside. The Vikings going to cover him down with a corner.
And the inside handoff to Maurice Morris. And Morris cut down after a gain of 3 by the strong safety Hussein Abdullah. Lions are without Nate Burleson, injured his ankle on the first play last week.
Yeah, and that was a big loss from Javid Best, though, gives them a dimension on the outside. 2 good tight ends, Tony Scheffler, Brendan Pettigrew, a good offensive line. The Detroit Lions feel like they're going to be able to run the ball effectively today against this tough Viking front.
Best had a sensational game last week, 232 yards from scrimmage. Hill on 2nd and 7, loses the football, and it is ruled an incomplete pass. 3rd down and 7 upcoming for the Lions against a terrific Minnesota defense.
That's that pass rush that these Lions are going to be seeing all day, especially with them 2 big guys inside, Darryl.
Yeah, and there they are right there, Kevin and Pat Williams. They're going to push that pocket, let that speed come off the edge. I think this is a very underrated linebacker group and one of the best tackling corners in the NFL, Antoine Winfield.
3 wide receivers. Calvin Johnson split to the left. Lions empty the backfield, need to get to the 44-yard line. This is Johnson, and he's brought down at the 37 by Antoine Winfield. Lions go 3 and out.
They don't play a very complex scheme, the Minnesota Vikings, defensively. They're very good at it. It's pretty simple. They're great tacklers, and that's going to be the challenge for the Detroit offense today, is trying to attack a defense that's really just built around great players.
Greg Camarillo back deep for the Vikings. Former Miami Dolphin. Dick Harris punting from his own 25-yard line. Taken out the 14 by Camarillo. Out to the 26, 12 yards on the return, 49-yard punt, as 40-year-old Brett Favre leads the Vikings offense out for the first time today.
Well, on our way up to Minnesota, you're kind of thinking about what this team is all about. And obviously with the injury to Sidney Rice, you know that that's had an impact. But the time that we've spent up here, I think it runs a little bit deeper, especially for Brett Favre. He does not have that guy that he trusts. You heard Tony talking to him about it at the beginning. On the same page, when there's a critical play that needs to be made, I don't know if Brett Favre has confidence in one of those guys on the outside.
3 receivers set on 1st and 10 from the 26-yard line. Favre throws on 1st down, and it's complete for a 1st down, 3rd catch of the season made by Greg Lewis for a gain of 14 yards. Jonathan Wade made the stop.
And it's kind of interesting because it's only one person that is out of the lineup. Bernard Berrien gets the start with Sidney Rice out of the lineup, but Visanthe Shanko really becomes your go-to guy. It's another offense based on 2 tights. John Sullivan, the starting center, is down. And I can tell you right now, John Cooper, their backup center, was inactive today. Look for Ryan Cook to probably come in and spell John Sullivan.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
Vikings lose their starting center, John Sullivan, on their first play from scrimmage. Ryan Cook now in 33 career starts, mostly at right tackle. 1st and 10 from the 40-yard line, as Peterson is taken down back at the 37. Lions with a much improved front four.
The heart of this defense comes from these four right here. Kyle Vanden Bosch has had a tremendous impact on this whole group, and Ndamukong Suh, everything he was built to be as a rookie coming out of Nebraska. But the heart and soul of that defense starts up front. They've got to get things corrected. DeAndre Levy's back in the lineup. That's a help, but that secondary has just been torched last week against Philadelphia, and they give up big plays the opening week against the Chicago Bears as well.
Vikings with 3 tight ends, second down and 12. This is Peterson again. Takes it up to the 43-yard line. Gain of 5, setting up third down and 7.
It was interesting to hear Brett Favre say, you know, it's going to be hard this year. I knew it was going to be hard last year. A lot of people think you just come to Minnesota and turn around and hand the ball off to number 28, but you can't do that. The defenses are too good. The players are too athletic. The schemes to be able to take away a one-dimensional team. They've got to have somebody step up and fill that role of Sidney Rice, not only to help the passing game, but also to help Adrian Peterson.
Coverage both on both outsides.
Favre on 3rd and 7, looking for Peterson out of the backfield.
That's exactly what they wanted to do. Get Adrian Peterson over the middle. No one around him. Just looks like he lost concentration on the ball there.
Well, you know, we talk about the handful of plays that have to be made. They're not touchdown-saving tackles or great catches for 6 points. Sometimes it's as simple as that. It's a ball right in the breadbasket to Adrian Peterson. This is going to be a big gain. Your quarterback stands in the pocket, all the pressure in his face, makes the throw. Adrian has got to catch that ball and turn it into a big play.
Chris Cluey punting from his own 30-yard line. And a fair catch called for by Logan at the 9. 48-yard punt by Cluey.
Today's game is sponsored by Budweiser. Grab some buds and be a part of the Budweiser National Happy Hour on September 29th.
Vikings and Lions scoreless. Early first quarter in Minneapolis. Lions will start from their own 8-yard line. They went 3 and out on their opening drive. Lions have had double-digit leads in each of their first 2 games. Hill off the play fake. And the tight end, Scheffler, the former Bronco, takes it out to the 15-yard line, gain of 7.
Brandon Pettigrew got away with a huge hold. Ray Edwards beats him right away to the inside. Even on the bootleg, he's going to get to Sean Hill. Brandon Pettigrew, no choice but to pull him down, and was able to sneak away with one right there.
Big game for Pettigrew last week. Career high 108 yards in the loss to the Eagles. Second down and 3. Best, nowhere to go. Kevin Williams on the tackle. We check in for the first time today with Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles. Kurt.
Well, we'll take a look at the Saints and Falcons. Of course, Reggie Bush out with that broken leg. So Lance Moore, the new punt returner for New Orleans. Not a bad substitute, huh? 72 yards on the return. He stopped at the 6-yard line, but the Saints would eventually score, and they lead at 7-0 in the early going. Peter Moose and Bush.
Thanks, Kurt. Early lead for New Orleans. 3rd down and 3 for the Lions. And Hill's pass is deflected, incomplete. Antoine Winfield with the big hit. So for the second time, the Lions go 3 and out.
Looks like we've got a little bit of nerves here this afternoon. People are not doing the fundamentals, concentrating on the ball. Bryant Johnson has got to make that catch. You're going to get hit. You know, at least get hit when you make a catch for the first down. Antoine Winfield is going to hit you one way or the other.
Nick Harris punting for the second time. On his own 4-yard line. Good kick, forcing Camarillo back to the 31. Camarillo across midfield. Setting up terrific field position for the Vikings. 53-yard punt, 28 on the return, and there is a flag. And Hockley, our referee today.
During the return, Illegal block in the back by the receiving team, number 54. It's a 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Minnesota keeps the ball, first down.
And that's the big thing. It's spot of the foul. It's not the end of the run, so that's a big penalty on the Vikings special teams.
Jasper Brinkley.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by the new 2011 Lexus IS, wheeled precision. By Panasonic, see what amazing looks like on the Panasonic Viera Full HD 3D TV. And by Sprint, the Now Network.
This week on Fox Saturday Baseball, the pennant race reaches its peak as the NL East leading Phillies battle a Braves team trying to keep pace in the wild card race or other games with playoff implications. Fox Saturday Baseball beginning this week at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific on Fox. Check local listings for the game and start time in your area. The Minnesota Twins have clinched the American League Central. They are headed to the postseason. Vikings lose 30 yards on the penalty during the run back. So they start from their own 30. And Peterson gaining 2. Out to the 32-yard line.
And for Jasper Brinkley, the return was going to the left. That holding penalty, the block in the back, was on the opposite side of where the return was called to. Again, those little plays, you just can't have the mistakes that Minnesota's having right now. A lot of fundamentals.
Ryan Cook had a hard time getting that ball up to Brett Favre. They got to get on the same page also. Bobbled the ball there coming out.
Vikings losing John Sullivan to a calf injury. Their starting center, his return today is questionable. Second down and 8 from the 32-yard line. Favre looking right. He throws. And Percy Harvin forced out of bounds by the former Falcon Chris Houston after a gain of 4.
Well, you think easily that Brett Favre could just switch from Sidney Rice to Percy Harvin as that go-to guy, as his big play guy. But when we talked to him on Friday, he said, I've really only had about 4 days of really good practice with Percy. We're not on the same page yet. So there's still that learning process to figure out how he's going to adjust to the coverages, how he runs his routes in a specific and consistent manner.
Favre on 3rd and 4. And a penalty marker. Bernard Berry and the intended receiver, Jonathan Wade, made contact.
Jonathan Wade's just got to be smart. He does a good job at the beginning.
Pass interference, defense, number 24. The ball is placed at the spot of the foul, first down.
But at some point, you just got to let him go. Hey, you're holding, interfering. And Hockley had his choice. Yeah. I mean, it's good physical play at the line, but you got to know when to get off it.
Pearson found a hole. He's close to the 48-yard line. If not for C.C. Brown Goose, he may have gone a long way.
Adrian Peterson does such a good job of anticipating where the hole is going to be, and that's one thing that he was working out today, is his patience. And watch him right here. He just goes, makes the cut, finds where the back to his offensive linemen goes, and then once he hits the line of scrimmage, how he just goes and powers right through. Very rarely you're going to see Adrian Peterson be taken down by an arm tackle.
On 2nd down and 7, the end around to Harvin, and Percy Harvin picks up a first down. And there is a flag. A late flag comes in after Harvin gained 10.
Holding, offense number 19. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat, second down.
That's Hank Baskett, the newest Viking, who was released by the Eagles this past Tuesday.
Well, when you have a reverse, it's a slow developing play. So let's watch Hank Baskett. He engages right away. Now he's got to hold on to that for a long time. You know what? I hope the hold is up there. I hope it's the second one. There's the second hold.
I don't think so.
Well,
his hands were outside, but he wasn't grabbing.
Yeah. But the big thing is it's such a long developing play. You got to kind of stalk your defender that you're responsible for in the blocking scheme, because you're going to have to hold that block for 4 seconds if you engage too quickly.
Favre on 2nd and 7, handing it off to Peterson. Not much. Gains just 1. Out to the 49-yard line. Ashley Palmer making the start for the injured Zach Follett. Made the tackle. Slow starts offensively for the Vikings over their first 2 games. They have not scored in the first quarter this season. They've scored only 19 points over their first 2 games. 3rd down and 6. 3 wide receiver set. Vikings must get to the Lions 45. And the play is blown dead.
False start, offense, number 71. 5-yard penalty, it's 3rd down.
Right tackle Phil Lodeholt. That is the 3rd Vikings penalty.
Trying to get out of there a little bit too quick. Minnesota has a lot of respect for this Detroit Lion defensive line. They've watched him on film. Sammy Hill, 91 there. There's Ndamukong Suh, number 90. They've got some big bodies in the middle. There's Kyle Vanden Bosch. They've got speed on the edges. Now you've put yourself in an even more difficult situation here at the 3rd and 11.
Now you got 5 coming.
Did they get the 5 back?
Delay of game.
Oh,
offense.
boy.
5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
So first the penalty during the punt return, which took the Vikings out of Lions territory, and now 3 penalties: basket, Lodeholt, delay of game.
And Brett Favre's arguing right there, because Brett Favre, there's no way this should happen. Not after a penalty. You've got plenty of time to be in that huddle, get that play called. Something went on right there. Maybe a miscommunication between Brett Favre and Ed Hockley at getting that clock restarted, because he went right over to him when that delay of game was called.
Play clock under 5. 3rd down and 16. The screen to Peterson, but it did not fool the Lions. Kyle Vanden Bosch and Andre Fluellen on the tackle, and Sammy Hill of the Lions remains down.
Sammy Hill was called by Jim Schwartz, the head coach of the Detroit Lions, the most improved player in their offseason coming into this year. Was a solid player last year, maybe playing in a starting role when he wasn't quite ready for it. But this year, with the depth that they've created in that defensive line, he gets to play a rotational position. And you add that together with what a great offseason he had, he's become one of the really bright spots in this defensive front.
And that rotation, I'll tell you what, keeps you nice and fresh as a defensive lineman and really helps that pass rush also.
Hill started 12 games for the Lions last season. So the Lions training staff continues to tend to Sammy Hill as we check in on the Falcons and the Saints with Kurt.
Well, Pam Oliver talked to Tony Gonzalez on the pregame show, so why shouldn't he respond? First quarter, 3 catches, 61 yards, and that 13-yard touchdown for Gonzalez from Matt Ryan. And the Falcons and Saints all even at 7 apiece late in the first quarter. Can he move some deuce?
Thank you very much, Kurt. Sammy Hill helped to his feet. 6:17 remaining, first quarter here in Minneapolis. Vikings and Lions are scoreless. Each team 2 offensive possessions. Lions have gone 3 and out twice. Vikings getting set to punt for the 2nd time.
Don't forget, because of the penalty on that punt return on Jasper Brinkley, this was a drive that should have started at the Detroit 39. So just a huge wasted opportunity again for this Minnesota team.
And then 3 more Vikings penalties during that possession. Chloe punting from the 30-yard line. And Logan gains a couple, steps out at the 17. And another flag. So a flag-filled first quarter as Ed Hockley will get together with his crew. looked like Logan may have called for a fair catch and then tried to take off.
There was no foul on the play. The receiver signaled for fair catch. That ends the down.
So no return. Ball will be spotted at the 15-yard line. Lions back on offense. They will start from their own 15-yard line looking for their first down. They've gained only 10 yards on 6 plays.
Very sloppy both sides right now, not getting into any type of rhythm offensively. Scott Linehan, the offensive coordinator for the Lions, trying to find something that works against this Vikings defense.
Used to have the same role here in Minnesota as Best is bottled up by the combination of Pat Williams and Ben Lieber.
Javid Best, you know, the Detroit Lions move up into the latter part of the first round. Number 30 grabbed Javid Best and has a breakout game last weekend against Philadelphia. 75 yards rushing, over 150 receiving. It hasn't been done since Joe Cribbs many years ago. So he gives them that presence, that big play potential from the running back position they haven't had in a decade.
Now some trickery from the Lions. The end around to Calvin Johnson, but he's brought down at the 18 after a gain of just 2.
This is a defense. They're kind of simple in nature, Tony. They remind me a lot of your Ravens 2000 defense. They're not going to try and trick you with schemes. They've got great athletes. It's going to be hard to fool them on a gadget play.
Absolutely. And Javid Best, you know, we've seen him twice running the ball to the outside, lateral with the line of scrimmage. One thing he needs to do on this defense is try to break a crease and coming up the middle.
Hill on 3rd down and 7. The pass was batted back. Kevin Williams got a piece of it.
That was a great job by Kevin Williams. They run a little game up the middle. He almost gets an interception on this play.
You know, it's even cooler, Tony. They've had a little cat and mouse game. Watch Chad Greenway right here. He's going to recognize this, and he's going to run out. He thinks screen, and then they run an underneath route back inside. I tell you what, that's a heck of a play by Kevin Williams getting a hand on that ball, because that's going to be a big gain right up the middle of the field.
Lions 3 series, 3 and outs. Camarillo falling forward out to the 43-yard line, so good field position for the Vikings. 40-yard punt, 3 on the return. The National League pennant race is heading for an amazing finish this October. Tune to Fox for coverage of baseball's postseason, returning October 16th, the NLCS, followed by the World Series. Toby Gerhart, the rookie out of Stanford, in the backfield and fires passes, intercepted. Corey Williams, his former teammate in Green Bay. It's Gerhart on the tackle. So Williams comes up with his 2nd career pick in 7 seasons and brings it back 27 yards.
How about soft hands for the big man right there? Look at this.
Right on the nose. Watch him read it, Goose. See how he fights? As soon as he leaves, right in the hip pocket of Toby Gerhart. Now look at this. Toby Gerhart's not gaining on him.
Nope. We don't get many opportunities as big men, man. I'll tell you what, he's hauling. Lift him up. Gotta love that, man.
All right, there's one of your plays right there, because it's been a field position battle this whole first quarter with Minnesota having the upper hand. The Lions, a big play by their defense to steal it away.
1st and 10 from the Vikings 12. The pass is caught by Best, who leads the NFL in touchdowns over the first 2 weeks with 5. Medea Williams bringing Best down at the 7-yard line, gain of 5.
And don't expect the Minnesota Vikings to make the same mistake that the Philadelphia Eagles did last week. They're not going to put a linebacker on Javid Best. So far, they've been covering him with safeties and cornerbacks.
Brian Johnson split to the left, Calvin Johnson to the right. 2nd and 5 from the 7. Inside handoff to the fullback, Jerome Felton. And some extracurricular activity. Ray Edwards and Brandon Pettigrew involved. Lions looking to capitalize on the interception of Brett Favre by Corey Williams. Lions perfect in the red zone this season. 3rd down and 3. Hill moving to his right, throws to the end zone, touchdown, Tony Scheffler.
A good job by Sean Hill, just sneaking out to his right a little bit. As the pressure comes, they jam everything down inside. As soon as he gets out, he's got a clear line of vision into the end zone, finds Tony Scheffler open for the touchdown.
Also the first down for the Lions today, as Scheffler reaches the end zone for the first time this season.
Little rugby scrum out there, Goose.
That ball never moved.
Neutral zone infraction by the center of the defense. That 5-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff. Re-kick from the 2.
Everybody on that Minnesota line collapsing on that kicking team of the Lions.
Vikings 5th penalty of the first quarter. Jason Hansen knocks the extra point through. So the Lions capitalize on the interception. Corey Williams got together with Favre earlier. They were teammates for 4 seasons in Green Bay. Brett Favre threw only 7 interceptions all of last season. 5 through 2 games plus 1 quarter this year.
That's why when everybody automatically kind of anointed Minnesota as one of the best teams in the NFC, you kind of had to take a step back and say, listen, that was a pretty special year for them last season. Brett Favre, 33 touchdowns and only 7 interceptions. I mean, that is a fantastic year. And he said he played some of the best football that he's ever played during the course of last season. It's a tough act to follow.
Kickoff taken at the goal line by Harvin. And he's tripped up shy of the 20 by Stephon Logan. Harvin shaken up a bit during the return.
Yeah, well, here's a guy who's already battling a little bit of a hip the last few weeks. I think I would find somebody else on my roster to be my kick returner.
He just doesn't think that he can go.
So Harvin comes off the field. Greg Lewis split to the left. Bernard Berrien to the right. First and 10 from the 18-yard line. Adrian Peterson bounces to the outside. Terrific second effort. DeAndre Levy thought he had him initially, and Peterson winds up gaining 17.
This is just things that you can't teach a running back. This guy is so determined not to be brought down. DeAndre Levy has him dead to rights. There's Jonathan Wade coming in, drops his head. Awful tackle. If you're going to do that, if you're going to drop your head, watch 24 come in. You have to bring everything to the party when you tackle Adrian Peterson. And if you are bad with your technique, that's exactly what is going to happen.
You better gang tackle.
2 tight ends set from the 37-yard line. On first down, Peterson again, this time loses 2 as we check in on the Saints and the Falcons once again with Kurt.
And what a first quarter for Lance Moore. Already had a 72-yard punt return, and now hooking up with Drew Brees. Hey, wide open on that one, but it's an 80-yard score, and the Saints are on top 14-7 still in the first quarter. Can you lose and goose?
Drew Brees, the only quarterback in the entire league last year with more touchdown passes than Brett Favre.
Hey, Tony, I'm thinking that Corey Williams, because of his time spent in Green Bay with Brett Favre, he is on his cadence right now.
I'll tell you what, he really found that little screen pass and was on top of it. That's how he got that interception.
Watch how quick he is. He's on his cadence. He knows it.
Percy Harvin back on the field, 2nd and 12 as Favre swings it out to Peterson. And Peterson out of bounds at the 39-yard line.
As a defensive lineman that's been in a game against Brett Favre, you could think, Darryl, that you have his cadence down, but he'll use that, knowing that you're going on that one cadence. He'll get that hard count. He'll draw you off sides to get that free play. So look for Brett to work that little hard count if he feels that that they're going off on his signal, or they have any timing down on him.
Favre on 3rd down and 7, hit as he throws, and it was Corey Williams applying the pressure.
They got 2 guys in the backfield right in Brett's face right now. And that's the difference. When you talk to Jim Schwartz, the head coach of the Lions, about what's the big deal this year, what is so different, he said, we don't have to blitz to bring pressure. You know, last year, if we were going to pressure the quarterback, we had the blitz. We couldn't get there with 4. This year, with the improvement of their defensive line, they're able to get pressure on the quarterback, just bringing the 4 defensive linemen. That helps them so much in the coverage game.
Louis punting for the 3rd time in his first quarter. Logan lost the handle. Ball is loose. And it looks like it's recovered by Chad Greenway of the Vikings.
Once you have to take your eyes off the punt to see where the coverage team is, just bail out at that point because you've taken your eyes off the ball. Watch Stephen Logan. He's going to try and find, where's my cover, guys? He takes his eyes off for a second. Then he's trying to readjust. You're indoors. The ball is caught up in the lights. Nothing good is going to happen at that point. Once your eyes come off the punt, just bail out, get away from the ball. If you have to start your drive inside the 10, so be it.
Greenway with the recovery. So new life for the Vikings. From the Lions' 24-yard line. Favre to the end zone, and a diving catch is made for a touchdown by Percy Harvin.
Not wasting any time finding the end zone right there.
Favre's wife, Deanna, 24-yard pass play, career touchdown pass number 499 for Brett Favre. Ryan Longwell, the extra point. Vikings capitalize on the Lions' turnover.
Well, problems on the back end. There's Percy Harvin. You can't let Percy Harvin run free right through the middle of the field. Again, it's a blown coverage. They're having issues on the back end. Here he is right here. Chris Houston's got him in coverage. He doesn't even move. He squats down. There's no help over the top. That's just a straight seam route. A missed coverage by the Detroit Lions, and this has been their Achilles heel through the first 2 weeks.
C.C. Brown just bit on that. I don't know if it was a fake up underneath, but he's got coverage over the top. That's why Percy was wide open.
And Harvin held on to the football during the process of the catch.
I knew you were going to get that one in at some point today. That was an even money bet. Kenny Albert will use the word process.
This is Logan, who committed the turnover moments ago. And Logan takes it out to the 28-yard line with under a minute remaining in the first quarter. Next weekend on the Big Ten Network, it'll be the defending Big Ten champion Buckeyes as they roll into Champaign to take on the Illini. Check local listings for the start time in your area.
The Detroit Lions, you can see 3 plays and out. Fortunately, on one of them, they started at the 12-yard line and were able to get a touchdown, but I don't think they're having the success against this Minnesota front that they thought they were.
False start offense number 66. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Right guard Stephen Peterman. His third false start in 3 games.
You got to steady the ship right now because you had gotten the crowd kind of out of this game. They were booing the Minnesota Vikings. You get the touchdown, you're up 7-0. That fumble by Stephen Logan on the punt and the touchdown on the next play by Percy Harvin has ignited this crowd again. It's going to be tough for this Lions offense in this series.
1st and 15 on the delay. This is Best. And Best out across the 30 to the 32-yard line before he was tackled by Ben Lieber, a gain of 9 for the rookie out of Cal. Both teams capitalizing following turnovers, as you mentioned. Lions given a short field, Vikings as well. Best 268 yards from scrimmage over the first 2 games. Most by a Lion since the retirement of Barry Sanders. 2nd down and 6. Hill under pressure. Ray Edwards almost knocked the ball free. And then Hill makes the connection to Pettigrew.
Sean Hill does a great job of going and holding on to that ball. Wow. I thought it was coming out.
First quarter has come to an end here in Minneapolis. Tied at 7. Fox NFL Sunday will return after these messages. Third down and 1 for the Lions as we begin the second quarter. Sean Hill on the sneak, and he looks to have a first down.
Well, as we came back, we saw him checking in on Percy Harvin right there. Some of that is, you know, the focus, the ability of the focus right there. Now, I'm not going to speculate on whether it's a concussion because remember, Percy's been battling migraines. You can see right there, it looks like his vision has got that little, you see moving his hand. And I just don't have that clear vision. So we've already seen him come up after a kickoff return, limping a little bit, possibly with that hip.
New set of downs for the Lions. Best takes it across midfield. Best to the Vikings 45 as he gains 15.
Now this is a very good tackling group from the defensive line all the way to the secondary, but I want you to watch Ben Lieber. He's got him dead to rights in the hole. This is just a great play by Javid Best. Look at this, steps up, got him. No, I don't. Where'd he go? Oh my gosh, he's in the secondary. That's just a great individual effort by Javid Best because Ben Lieber is a good linebacker.
Derek Williams in motion, direct snap to Best. And the Lions lose a yard. Nadeem Williams the tackle as we check in with Kurt on the 49ers and the Chiefs.
Like the Vikings, San Fran looking for its first win of the season against Kansas City. Matt Castle hooking up with a rookie Dexter McCluster, breaks away and breaks free into the end zone, 31 yards, scoring the Chiefs, trying to go to 3-0, up 7-0 in the second quarter. Kenny Moose and Goose.
All right, thanks very much, Kurt. 2nd down and 11 from the Vikings 46. Hill, after a pump fake, he throws and going up and making a tremendous catch for a first down, Calvin Johnson.
And taking a huge hit. All right, now they've been talking about, hey, we've got to get Calvin Johnson more involved in the game. So what you have to do is when you have an opportunity with a one-on-one, you've got to take your shot. Throw the ball up in the air, let him use his athletic ability. Hussein Abdullah comes over and puts a big hit on Calvin, but he is able to hold on to that ball.
Look how he just goes up at the highest point and grabs that thing. You got to throw it up nice and high to him. Wow.
21-yard pass play from the Vikings 24. Hill with time. He throws intended for Scheffler. Hussein Abdullah got a piece of it, and Scheffler is shaken up.
Yeah, I wonder what happened. Now, he sticks his arm out there to knock that ball down. You wonder what happened because he's got 2 players there. He's going to come out of the slot. He's going up on the seam route. Now watch at the top. He's going to make a play. Might have caught a helmet right in the rib cage.
Yeah, he's holding his ribs down on the ground right now. That'll get the wind knocked out of you.
So the trainer's tending to Tony Scheffler, who has the Lions touchdown.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Triple Hops Brewed Miller Lite. Taste greatness. By Ford. Drive One. And by Nike.
Scotty Scheffler injured on the last play. Lions and Vikings tied at 7. Second and 10 from the 24-yard line. Inside handoff to the fullback, Felton, who picks up a first down inside the Minnesota 10-yard line. A gain of 15, and there is a flag.
He can't hold on a 15-yard run by the fullback. Come on, guys.
Holding, offense number 51. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
That's on the center, Dominic Raiola.
What a great job execution on this play, other than the hold.
Well, you know, you take Javid Best and you split him out, so you're going to have the corner go out there, and now you're going to run a little trap inside. Dominic Raiola, you know, because he goes to the ground. I don't like that call, because from that angle right there, I need to see more, because it looked like he had his hands inside. And then at the end of the run, as Pat Williams comes off and tries to go, Dominic Raiola throws him to the ground. I think sometimes the official sees a guy on the ground and automatically the flag comes up. I didn't like that call.
So instead of first and goal, it's now 2nd and 20 from the 34-yard line. The handoff to Best. Kevin Williams, the first Viking to get his hands on Best. No gain. 3rd and 20 coming up.
Remember, Darryl, you also have the umpire in a different position this year, now behind the offense, so you're going to get a lot more holding calls, and then probably, you know, instead of having 2 eyes back there, now you have 4. That's Chad right there. The umpire used to be behind me when I played, but now he's behind the offense, so those offensive linemen are going to get a lot more calls than they used to.
I think if he's down in his normal position, he sees hands inside and realizes that the player just went to the ground in pursuit.
Absolutely.
Sean Brown, the umpire, 3rd down and 20. Hill dumping it off to Best. And Best takes it down to the 26-yard line. Gain of 8.
I like the play call by Scott Linehan. It's 3rd and 20. You're going up against Minnesota. They're going to generate a ton of pressure with their down 4. They're going to drop back and play coverage with the other 7 guys. Throw the ball underneath. Maybe something happens. Maybe you break a tackle or somebody gets caught up. Give Jason Hansen an opportunity to come out and get you 3 points.
44-yard attempt from the right hash. Hansen's kick is no good. Wide to the left. The 7th all-time leading scorer in league history. Just wide. We remain tied at 7. Early second quarter in Minneapolis. Brett Favre with career touchdown pass number 499 earlier. Both teams even in yards, 86 apiece. Both teams scoring their touchdowns following turnovers. Vikings start from their own 34-yard line following the missed field goal. And that was the first catch today by the tight end Asante Shanko, the Vikings leading receiver over the first 2 games, and it's good for a gain of 7.
Well, we talked to Jim Schwartz yesterday, and he was very emphatic about making the point that, listen, our games have come down to the very, very end, but it's not that last play. It's not at the end of the game that we're making our mistakes. There's opportunities throughout the game to make the key plays that even prevent you from being in that situation at the end of the game, and right now we're having a few of those missed opportunities creep into the game.
Movement prior to the snap.
There's that hard count I told you about, Darryl.
He's trying to jump his cadence.
Yeah.
Encroachment. Defense, number 99. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
Corey Williams, who had the interception earlier, which led to the Lions touchdown.
See that hard count? You see Brett Favre's helmet shaking. Knew that Williams was jumping on his heart. There's a little smile right there. See, he's very in tune to what's going on with that defensive line. Now to slow that pass rush down a little bit, he's hoping.
Percy Harvin back on the field. From the 45, off the play fake. Favre in trouble. He escapes. Down he goes. There is a flag.
And that's one thing that Julian Peterson mentioned. Favre's ball security in the pocket. He's loose with it. They thought they were going to be able to get one on the ground. Wow.
He might put a hand to the head. He got a stiff arm right in the helmet.
There was a personal foul, roughing the passer by the defense. Contact to the helmet of the quarterback. After the fact, the ball was fumbled. However, as a result of the penalty, the ball is returned to Minnesota, 15 yards, first down.
So Favre was hit in the helmet prior to the fumble.
You can see right there whether it was, you don't have to grab the face mask. As long as you jerk that helmet, you can see Brett Favre reach up right away too. So he got his neck twisted. You can see him there as he comes out of that pile and rolls right over. There's never been a tougher guy that's played the quarterback position in the NFL. I don't care what anybody says.
From the 47-yard line, Adrian Peterson on first down. Picks up 12. The Vikings first down as we head to Los Angeles and Kurt.
Well, the Cowboys on 3rd and 10 pick up a first down with a 17-yard play. Tony Romo to Miles Austin finished just a yard short of the end zone. Marion Barber took it in from there, and Dallas has the lead over the Texans 7-3 late in the first half. Kenny Moose and Goose.
Cowboys 0-2, Texans 2-0. You referred to Favre's toughness. Started his first NFL game 18 years ago tomorrow. Has not missed one since.
That's unbelievable.
September 27, 1992, Green Bay against Pittsburgh. Peterson stays on his feet and is down at the 31-yard line. Gain of 5. Lewis Delmas the tackle.
And if Adrian goes and cuts to the outside on this particular play, he might still be running. He missed his block. The tight end came around, sealed the outside. Decided to cut up inside, though.
He's always pressing, and whether it's Eric Bieniemy, the running back coach from Minnesota, or Adrian will tell you himself, I've just got to slow down a little bit. I want to...
Patience.
Yeah,
patience.
Exactly. It's a hard thing to learn, especially for a guy who runs the ball with the style that Adrian does.
Peterson out, Gerhard in. Janko split out to the left. This is Toby Gerhard. And Gerhard takes it down close to a first down to the 26-yard line. Finished second in Heisman Trophy balloting a year ago. Scored 28 touchdowns, which led the nation. For Stanford, Pac-10 Offensive Player of the Year.
Had a great senior year at Stanford, and he's going to be a guy that's going to, his role will have to expand during the course of the year. They lost Chester Taylor as their third down back. Now Adrian Peterson has picked up some of those snaps, but my concern for Adrian is he runs with such a physical style that now all of a sudden he's also grabbing some snaps on third down. Does he wear down at the end of the season when you need him the most?
Peterson back in. First and 10 from the Lions 26. Here's Peterson. Peterson cutting it inside. And gains 5 down to the Detroit 21. Sammy Hill back in the game, made the tackle. Hill injuring his ankle earlier.
Adrian doing a great job, too, of securing that ball, Darryl. Something that he struggled with over the past couple of years. It looks like he's covering the ends of the ball, getting down when he needs to get down, when somebody's got him corralled a little bit. He's taking what he has.
Has not coughed it up yet this season, Goose.
You just jinxed him right there, Kenny.
You started it. Second down and 5. Quick release by Favre to Berrien. And Bernard Berrien picks up another Vikings first down at the 15-yard line.
That's a good thing Brett Favre had this play called. This might just be an audible when he sees that coverage off right there, because there comes Ndamukong Suh right through the middle. You get that off coverage on the outside by Jonathan Wade. You get it out to Bernard Berrien and see if he can make a big play on the outside, one-on-one.
From the 15, another quick release. Greg Lewis spins free. And Lewis out of bounds at the Detroit 7-yard line.
Brett knew that they were coming. Those backers gave him a key that they were bringing 7 guys, and he got rid of that ball as quick as he could. That's one thing that Brett really does great, is identifying when they're coming and how fast he needs to go and get that ball out there.
Yeah, but you just saw their red zone performance so far this season, Tony. That's been one of the big issues. Not only coming down here and stalling, but turnovers. They've had turnovers in the red zone. Give them the opportunity for points away.
2 picks in the red zone last week, 2nd and 2. Here's Peterson, and he's tackled from behind by Sue. Close to a first down, just short. 3rd and inches coming up for the Vikings.
This is a real methodical drive. This is probably the style that Minnesota is going to have to play until Sidney Rice gets back later in the season. Hopefully he's able to rejoin the Minnesota Vikings and get up to speed quickly. But with that big play potential on the outside kind of gone, this is more of the style I think you're going to see. Quick passes to the outside, controlling that underneath to medium area in the passing game, and then relying on Adrian Peterson and that offensive line to be able to move the ball on the ground. (13-11) right now in the pass run.
Two tight ends. Greg Lewis split out to the right. 3rd and inches. With the fullback Tahi leading the way. Here's Peterson into the end zone. Touchdown.
Adrian Peterson was real critical of himself in that game last week against Miami. He had the ball in his hand on 4th down to win that game, and he got stopped, and he actually went back to a play that happened 2 plays prior, where he said if he would have just been a little bit more patient, he would have had a 2-way go, would have walked into the end zone. So I think you see him playing today. He's trying to make amends for his performance last week.
Peterson's 2nd touchdown of the season. Longwell the extra point. Vikings have their first lead of the afternoon. Nine plays, 66 yards for the Vikings. They've scored touchdowns on their last 2 possessions.
Well, that was a very methodical drive. They get the short field, make the Lions pay for that miscue in special teams, hit him with a touchdown on the next play, but that was a real nice methodical drive. Some short passes on the outside, good running by Adrian Peterson, good blocking by that offensive line.
Kickoff taken out by Logan. And Logan goes up and then down at the 29-yard line. Vikings leading by a touchdown. Vikings lead the Lions 14-7. Tonight on Fox, Animation Domination is back with the killer 1-hour season premiere of Family Guy. It's the event that'll have you asking who done it, and someone won't survive the night. Lions from the 29-yard line down to the 36. Gain of 7 on first down. Sean Hill to Pettigrew. Hill 8 for 12. Best 25 yards on the ground. Tony Scheffler has the Detroit touchdown. Second down and 3. The end around to Logan, who has a first down and more across midfield. Finally down at the Vikings 43. Stephon Logan gaining 21.
Oh boy, was there a great block inside on E.J. Henderson. I think it's Dominic Raiola. Let's try and trace the center as everything happens. E.J. Henderson, the middle linebacker, starts one way, comes back, peels back on him. Boom, off the feet. And that's when you've got the pursuit. If you can get that angle, let them commit, get to the outside, put yourself between the tackler and the ball carrier. Dominic Raiola, great block, good feel.
2 tight ends in the game. 1st and 10 from the 43-yard line. Maurice Morris, the former Seahawk, gains 1. Down to the Minnesota 42 as we approach 3 minutes remaining in the second quarter. Vikings with touchdowns on their last 2 possessions, leading the Lions 14-7.
Well, one of the things you have to be impressed with Detroit this season so far is their resiliency. You're talking about a team that in week 1 loses their starting quarterback. Last week on the first play of the game, loses their number 2 receiver. They fall behind in games. They've been fighting back. The mental toughness has gotten much better. Now it's just zeroing in on those key plays during the game.
Empty backfield, Hill out of the shotgun, throws, Pettigrew lost it, but it's ruled an incomplete pass. So it will be 3rd down and 8 for the Lions back at the 41.
Dominic Rail all over the field.
Yeah, hustling downfield just in case that's a fumble.
Did not have possession.
Great job getting the hand right on the ball. Hussein Abdullah.
3rd down and 8. Calvin Johnson in the slot to the left. From the 42-yard line, Hill throws to his right, and Pettigrew again unable to hang on.
Ball's in his hands. No reason why he drops that ball. You got to bring that in.
Now the first one, it was a good play by the defender. Hussein Abdullah gets a hand right on the ball right as it comes in. But this one, I think you're exactly right, Tony. I think this one's just going to be knocked loose by the defender on the hit.
Yeah, he has time to bring it to his body, Brandon Pettigrew, but
Chris Cook with the hit. Missed the first 2 games. Returning following knee surgery. Nick Harris punting from his own 47-yard line. Fair catch called for at the 11 by Camarillo, nearly backed into by his teammate Asher Allen. Well, the National League pennant race heading for an amazing finish. This October, the 4 best teams will collide in a month of games filled with drama, excitement, and thrills to see which team will advance to the World Series. Coverage of baseball's postseason returns October 16th with the National League Championship Series, followed by the World Series, only on Fox. Vikings went to the postseason in 2009, went to overtime in the NFC Championship game. Started this season 0-2. Brett Favre 8-for-11 with a touchdown pass today. Adrian Peterson 54 yards on the ground. As the Vikings look to bounce back from that 0-2 start, this is their worst starting field position of this game. The 11-yard line as Peterson is met in the backfield by Ashley Palmer. Loss of a yard on the play as we approach the 2-minute warning. With the Vikings leading the Lions 14-7. Vikings in the hurry up. Favre on 2nd down at 11. He escapes. Now fires, and a diving catch is made for a first down by Harvin. So the Vikings do not let the clock run down. They get the playoff prior to the 2-minute warning. Good escapability by Favre, and Harvin picks up 19. Now we've hit the 2-minute warning in Minneapolis. Lions coach Jim Schwartz has challenged whether Harvin was down.
Was reviewed to determine whether the receiver was down by contact after catching the ball, which he was. It is a first down, just short of the 25-yard line. Please reset the clock to 1:56. That is the point that he was down at the point that we went out for the 2-minute warning. There are no timeouts charged.
So the Vikings lose 4 yards. Harvin still picks up the first down. Couple of things. Schwartz can challenge even though we're at 1:54 because the play started prior to the 2-minute warning.
Outside the 2-minute warning. There's a contact by Jonathan Wade right there. You see the hand on the backside of Percy Harvin. So he's down once he goes. Now, not a big challenge. There was nothing about possession or the process, just getting back some yardage. So you get 4 yards back, but you give Brett Favre 2 more seconds. I don't know if that's a win for me.
Coming up, the Visa halftime report with Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy. They'll have scores and highlights on the Fox Sports ticker with all the latest stats. Now, Schwartz still has 2 challenges. If you get your first challenge right, you have 2 more. So he does not lose a challenge. Vikings lose 4 yards, and now Favre on first down to Harvin. And Harvin picks up another first down out to the 36, gain of 11. Vikings have all 3 of their timeouts. 3 wide receivers from the 36-yard line. Favre to the outside, burying. Shoved out of bounds at the 41-yard line by Chris Houston. Clock stops at 1:27. Gain of 5. He's got the Cunningham, Lions defensive coordinator. His defense has allowed touchdowns on each of the last 2 Vikings possessions. Movement prior to the snap, and the play is blown dead.
I almost jumped with that hard count. I mean, Brett Favre, his whole body moved. And right after, his whole offensive line moved except for the center and the ball.
False start, offense number 71. 5-yard penalty. It's 2nd down.
Second time the right tackle Phil Lodeholt has been flagged today. Let's listen.
And you got to remember, we've got Ryan Cook in there at center too. John Sullivan went down early in the game, so he's done a great job so far working with Brett on that cadence, but looks like he might have been a little bit late on that one.
Second and 10 with 1:27 remaining in this first half. Vikings need about 30 yards to get into field goal range for Longwell. Low pass caught by Peterson at the 40, gain of 4.
And here's another area where you miss Sidney Rice. You can see the play calling right here by Brett Favre in this 2-minute situation. Everything's kind of underneath. They still haven't found that guy that can stretch the defense and get vertically down the field.
3rd down and 6. Favre hit as he throws, and it is picked off by Alphonso Smith.
There's that pressure with those guys up front in Brett's face all day, affecting throws.
Well, I think they were finally going to try and stretch it a little bit too, Tony. They had Visanthe Shenko going down the seam, the tight end. Let's see who gets a hand on it. It was Cliff Averill that got the hand on it, knocked it up.
And then the interception by Alphonso Smith, who spent last year with the Broncos, his first NFL pick. He holds the Atlantic Coast Conference record, 21 interceptions at Wake Forest. So the Lions take over with all 3 of their timeouts, 54 seconds remaining. Hill complete to Maurice Morris, and he is kept in bounds on the tackle by Chris Houston. And that forces the Lions to use their first timeout. Cedric Griffin, the tackle, excuse me. So Jim Schwartz stops the clock with 48 seconds remaining. Following the second interception thrown by Favre.
Most of our scores today coming off of turnovers. Corey Williams intercepts the screen. That leads to a touchdown by Tony Scheffler, and then a mishandled punt by Stephen Logan. The next play, Brett Favre makes some pay with Percy Harvin. A really nice drive near the end of the second quarter by the Minnesota Vikings, but now Detroit with another opportunity after a Brett Favre interception to get some points right before the half.
2nd down and 6. Hill over the middle, the 41-yard line. Close to a first down, Tony Scheffler. And the Lions use their second timeout. 41 seconds remaining in the half. Once again, the Visa halftime report coming up from Los Angeles with Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy. They will bring you all the scores and highlights. And our Fox Sports ticker with up to the second stats. That's coming up on the Visa halftime report. There is Alphonso Smith, who came up with the second pick of the day and the 6th this season of Brett Favre. Threw only 7 all of last year.
Every year is different in the NFL. Just because you had success the previous season does not mean that that's going to carry over to the following year.
New set of downs for the Lions from the Vikings 40. Hill can't find anyone downfield. Chased by Kevin Williams. He throws, and the catch is made at the 24-yard line by Derek Williams, the second-year receiver out of Penn State. 17-yard pass play.
Good job working back to your quarterback. I think that Sean Hill was looking for Maurice Morris, but he turned and blocked for him, so Derek Williams did a good job on that scramble.
Lions with one timeout. And another completion, this time to Scheffler inside the 15-yard line. Time winding down. And the Lions use their final timeout.
I don't understand that.
Me neither.
You have 14 seconds left when that play was down. Get your timeout called right away. You've got a couple of shots.
Or spike
into the end zone.
Yeah,
well, no, don't even clock it, Tony, because that's going to take you almost as much time. Just pop up right away and call timeout. I don't like the management at the end of the half right there by the Detroit Lions.
Well, they had some time, but let the clock run all the way down, and now they send out the field goal unit.
You're going to be able to take a couple of shots into the end zone from that spot, the 14-yard line with 14 seconds to go. I think you can get a couple of shots into the end zone, even if it got down to 12 before you got it called.
Looks like they were just playing for the 3 points. Why not take a shot?
It's a 33-yard attempt. Hansen missed his prior attempt wide to the left. This time, he knocks it through. So the Vikings commit a late turnover in the first half. Lions score 3 and trail at the half 14-10. The Visa halftime report is coming up. Both teams still searching for their first win of this 2010 season. Vikings leading the Lions at the half 14-10. As we welcome you back, Kenny Albert with Darryl Johnston. Vikings took advantage of a short field to score their first touchdown, and all 10 of Detroit's points coming off turnovers.
Well, there's going to be a play to be made here in the second half that's going to allow one of these teams to kind of seize control of the game, and that's what we've been talking about throughout the first half, and it's happened the first 2 weeks to both of these teams. There's a handful of plays that need to be made if you want to earn that victory. You heard Michael Strahan talk about it. Every time it's there for the Detroit Lions to do that, they're unable. They just got to let it kind of slip through their fingers. Minnesota the same way. We've seen evidence of that in the first half. The team that does it the best here in the second half obviously is going to win this game.
Lions have not won on the road since 2007. They've lost 12 consecutive games here in Minneapolis. Brett Favre, a couple of turnovers in the first half, and they both led to Detroit scores.
One of the things we touched on right at the end of the first half is every season is different, and you heard the guys talking about it at the halftime show. You know what he did last year: 33 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. You're not going to follow the next season up with numbers like that. It's going to be different. And Brett Favre even talked about it. This is going to be hard for us. And I really liked what Vicente Shanko said. You know, we've got to earn our right. We've got to go through the progression of the season the way we did last year. And don't forget, you know, the season didn't start off like gangbusters for Minnesota last year, too. It was trying until that big victory over the San Francisco 49ers in Week 3, right where we are this afternoon.
Percy Harvin on the return out to the 28-yard line as we check out the first half numbers. Favre 12 of 16, 106 yards, 1 touchdown pass, and 2 interceptions.
Well, that's the big thing. He's just got to eliminate those. It was a good play by Corey Williams on the screen. He read something, intercepted that pass. The other one, whether it was the hit by Cliff Averill that kind of affected the throw right there at the end of the first half.
So the Vikings with a 4-point lead start from their own 28-yard line as we begin this second half. Favre moving to his right. Can't find anyone downfield. Now he dumps it off. Good decision. Adrian Peterson out of the backfield. First down and more. Out of bounds at the 45-yard line. A gain of 17.
And he was looking for Vicente Shanko down the field. He's coming off. So you run the boot action. You're going to give your quarterback the extra time he needs to take the shot down the field. We're going to get out to the right. Now he wants to go back to the left side of the field to Vicente Shanko. Detroit had him double covered down the field.
Peterson. He's met initially by Averill. Peterson able to gain 2 yards. He had 53 on the ground in the first half, as well as the second Vikings touchdown. You referenced the start to last season, wins over Cleveland and Detroit for the Vikings, and then they were down to Sean Hill and the 49ers in week 3 before what Brett Favre referred to as a spark of magic, the touchdown pass late to Greg Lewis, and he told us we have not had a spark of that magic yet this year.
They have not, and a much more difficult start to the season with the game at New Orleans to start off and then Miami last week.
We saw Shacko on the sidelines as Favre connects with Greg Camarillo, who picks up a first down in Lions territory at the Detroit 43.
And that's the guy that really kind of has some carryover from last season with Brett Favre. They feel like they're in sync a little bit more than any of the other potential wide receivers. Greg Camarillo, he could be that guy. You know, Brett went into depth and detail about, you know, what he needs to do and how they need to become better.
A quick out. And Hank Baskett unable to make the catch. And we were talking about Baskett's career. Started in Minnesota, traded to Philadelphia where he played with Donovan McNabb, went to Indianapolis, Peyton Manning, and now working with Brett Favre.
Yeah, but it's still fundamentals. You know, secure the catch before you take your eyes downfield. You're not going to be running anywhere if you don't have the football with you. And Hank's just got to go back to your fundamentals. You could see the frustration on Brett Favre's face when he looked outside. He told Tony Saragusa, I've thrown like 2 balls to Hank Baskett since he's gotten here.
Baskett in motion, 2nd and 10. From the 43-yard line. Nice catch by the veteran Jim Kleinsaucer. And he is close to a Vikings first down as we head west. Once again to Kurt Menefee. Kurt.
Crazy game between the Bills and Patriots. Yes, Buffalo and New England. Tom Brady hooking up with Randy Moss in the middle of all this 35-yard score. But C.J. Spiller took the ensuing kickoff 95 yards. It's 24-22, pending the extra point early in the third quarter. Kenny Motion goes.
All right, thanks very much, Kurt. Randy Moss with his 150th NFL touchdown earlier. From the Lions 33. Favre, pump fake, throws. 2 yards to Peterson down at the 31.
Brett just doesn't look the same anymore. Not just in this game. He just is not looking downfield at all. Everything's just short dump. He has no confidence in any of the guys, you know, on those deep routes. You know, Darryl, you talked about it earlier. He's searching for that guy. But it just seems to me down here watching on the field, he's not even looking. I mean, he's looking downfield, but just doesn't have the confidence to go and unleash it downfield with the things that we're used to seeing him do.
No Sidney Rice. Percy Harvin not 100%. 2 pass attempts as Favre hands it off to Peterson. And Peterson is down back at the 34. Loss of a couple. Last week, 2 pass attempts to Bernard Berrien were intercepted. So they have not been in sync, and we saw Hank Baskett drop one a moment ago.
Well, it's trust. It's being consistent. You know, he told us, I'm looking for that constant. I need to know what these guys are going to do in situations, and they have to do it that way every single time, or I can't trust them to throw the ball. And I think both of the interceptions last week to Bernard Berrien, he's thinking, I'm throwing the ball to the Sidney Rice type guy, and Bernard Berrien's not that guy. He doesn't make the back shoulder catch. He doesn't go up high and compete for the ball that's thrown into coverage.
Now 3rd down and 11. Favre throws, and it is picked off by Chris Houston. The 3rd interception today by the Lions. There is a flag.
That is on cue, though. I mean, there's Greg Lewis. Brett Favre is expecting him to stop his route.
Before the pass was thrown, illegal contact, defense number 23. A 5-yard penalty is enforced in the previous spot. Minnesota first down.
Look down at the bottom, Greg Lewis versus Chris Houston. I mean, just completely out of sync. You know, whether Brett's expecting Chris or Greg to get inside Chris, stay on the inside right there. He's not. He's breaking back to the outside. He's expecting the ball to come up and over the top on the outside. Brett is expecting him to beat Chris Houston across the face to the inside, and he's going to try and fit one in. That's exactly the frustration that he has. There's no consistency with what they're doing in situations.
So a reprieve for the Vikings thanks to the penalty from just inside the 30.
Oh, and them not stretching the field makes it harder for Adrian Peterson too, because now the linebackers aren't really worried about getting that deep threat. The safeties are up. Everybody's really tight to the line of scrimmage, and it makes it hard to go and, you know, them runs that we're used to seeing Adrian Peterson break. You know, you got a lot more guys in the box and down where they can go and make tackles on the line of scrimmage. It's
going to be a compacted defensive front, Tony. They have no threat of having to be down the field. So, you know, we all talk about how difficult it is to run into an 8-man box. You know, if Minnesota's not careful, they're going to get 8-man boxes virtually on every snap. They'll probably have 9 guys close to the line.
Now they have Kleinsaucer split out to the right. And Favre complete down to the 18-yard line. It's the veteran tight end, Jeff Dugan. And Dugan picks up a first down. So the Vikings are now inside the red zone. New set of downs from the Lions 18.
You can see the frustration on Gunther Cunningham right there, the defensive coordinator for the Lions, because, you know, this is he's allowing, his defense is allowing this Viking offense that's not firing on all cylinders to move methodically down the field for the second time with just short passes and handing the ball off to Adrian Peterson.
Now 2 tight ends, Gerhardt in the backfield. On first down, Gerhardt was hit initially by DeAndre Levy. Down at the 19-yard line. Loss of 1. Greg Camarillo back in as the Vikings continue to shuffle personnel.
Yeah, we're doing a little bit of match here. You've seen the things come up. It's either Zebra or Deuce. Now that's going to be the personnel group that Detroit has tagged with Minnesota. So they're going to try and match their defense as those card signals come in.
Yeah, all the defenders will look over and they'll have tendencies. The offense will have tendencies, and that's what they're playing right now.
Second down and 11 off the fake to Gerhardt. Favre throws, and a diving catch is made at the 13-yard line by Camarillo for a gain of 6.
Greg Camarillo down at the bottom working against Chris Houston. The release down the field, just sell it a little bit more. I mean, Chris Houston doesn't even have his eyes back there. Sell that one a little bit more.
Third down and 5 from the 13-yard line. 3 receivers all split to the left side. Favre, Peterson throws.
Got to get on it.
Peterson scoops it up. The play is blown dead by Ed Hockley.
Forward, and it ends up going back to forward and incomplete pass. 4th down.
Ed Hockley jumping in there and cleaning this one up for me. You'll see right here, it's the force of the hit by DeAndre Levy that knocks the ball back. You know, he's turning that way and he's throwing it that way. I'm not so sure it is the impact of the hit. I mean, his body angle is backwards. I think they got away with that one right there. I'm thinking that should have been called a lateral.
Although it did look like Peterson would have been the first one there. 31-yard attempt by Longwell is good. So the Vikings add to their lead. They would have preferred 7. 17-10 Minnesota. But Favre and the Vikings now lead the Lions 17-10. Carl Vanden Bosch, the heart and soul of the Lions defense.
Oh, but he has just had an impact. You hear about guys, everybody will talk about an individual player saying, if we can get this guy in our locker room, he'll change the culture of our team. And most of the time, that doesn't really pan out. But I think with Kyle Vanden Bosch being in Detroit, I think that's exactly what has happened. I mean, his work ethic, his hustle at practice, he's elevated the play of everybody else on that defense. You can see, I mean, the guy is, I mean, he's gassed right now. He's over there trying to catch his breath to get back out there. But every single snap, not just on Sundays, but Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you get everything you want from Kyle Vanden Bosch.
Jim Schwartz was his coordinator in Tennessee. Went down to Nashville, first day of free agency. Brought Kyle Vanden Bosch back to Detroit. Logan on the return. out to the 24. Vikings by 7.
Today's game is sponsored by Chevrolet. Every model is backed by a 100,000-mile, 5-year powertrain limited warranty.
Detroit Lions have a first-half lead for the third consecutive week. They're 0-2. They trail the Vikings 17-10 as Hill hands it off to Best. And he takes it up the middle for a gain of 2 out to the 25-yard line as we hit the midway point of quarter number 3.
Asante Shenko heading into the locker room with a leg injury. We saw him working on his hamstring. We'll keep you updated on that. So you've got Asante Shenko heading up into the locker room. Percy Harvin has been battling stuff all afternoon long.
Shenko looked pretty good jogging into the locker room, though. Nice little stride there.
Vikings also lost their starting center, John Sullivan. 2nd and 8 from the 25 as Hill throws, and the catch is made by Calvin Johnson for a first down out at the 34, gain of 11.
Again, Sean Hill does a good job of recognizing that Calvin Johnson has got one-on-one coverage with Cedric Griffin. So you've got to take advantage of those opportunities. A lot of the times during the game, he's going to have double coverage.
That offensive line doing a good job on a 7-man rush on that particular play.
There's Matthew Stafford, injured against Chicago week 1 on a hit from Julius Peppers. On first down, Chad Greenway making the tackle. Loss of 1 as we check in with Kirk.
A lot of Kansas City hands on the balls on this one. Thomas Jones takes the direct snap, hands it off to Dexter McCluster. He pitches it back to the quarterback, Matt Castle, who finds Dwayne Bowe. 45 yards on the score. They lead San Francisco 17-3, trying to go to 3-0 while keeping the Niners winless. Kenny?
How about those Kansas City Chiefs? One of 8 teams who entered this weekend 2-0. Both the Vikings and Lions here 0-2. 2nd and 10. Hill from the shotgun.
Oh, great
he
job
escapes. What a job by Hill.
And good decision there, too.
Yeah, takes it out of bounds at the 38, and there is a flag. Late flag. Looked like Pat Williams with the late hit.
After the play was over, a personal foul. Unnecessary roughness defense, number 94. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Pat Williams mad he's got to run that far.
Yeah, I think a little bit of frustration right here. They think they've got him sacked. Now he's all the way down the line. There he is, number 94. I'm going to run all this way and not get somebody. I got to hit someone. You see Derek Williams go flying, number 12. Again, just you lose your composure for a split second and you give the Lions new life. Instead of forcing them to convert on 3rd down, you give them an automatic first.
Lions in Vikings territory from the Minnesota 48. Inside handoff to the fullback, Felton. And he's tripped up, dives ahead to the 45-yard line. Gain of 3.
It's great to see E.J. Henderson back on the field. And when you talk to the players and the coaches who are going against him, the fact that he's back to how he was. You know, he had a career-threatening leg injury last season. And for him to be back playing the way he is right now is just so impressive.
Last week in the game against Miami, E.J. forced a fumble. It was recovered by his brother Aaron, who was inactive for today's game. Nice moment for the Henderson family. 2nd down and 7 as Hill finds Felton, takes it down to the 40, stopped 2 yards shy of the marker. E.J. Henderson and Sean Hill, teammates at the University of Maryland, also here with the Vikings. Hill making his 2nd consecutive start for the injured Stafford. 3rd down and 2. Lions need 2 yards. Morris will not get it. Met initially by Jimmy Kennedy. Loss of 1.
That's all Kevin Williams. He forces that play to the other side of the line of scrimmage. Just completely disrupts that running play. He forces the back to cut before he wants to. You see the push up inside, I mean, the Minnesota front just completely changed the line of scrimmage to about 2.5 yards further into the Lions' backfield.
That's that penetration that you want to stop.
Nick Harris punting for the 5th time. Camarino lets it go. And the Lions unable to keep it out of the end zone. Nice effort by John Wendling. But the Vikings will start from their own 20, leading the Lions by 7.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By OnStar, safely connecting you in ways you never thought possible. Live on. By Budweiser, grab some buds and be a part of the Budweiser National Happy Hour on September 29th. And by Fidelity Investments. Turn here.
Vikings lead the Lions by 7 from the 20-yard line. Adrian Peterson. Peterson cuts to the outside. He's across midfield, and he's going to take it all the way. 80 yards for a Vikings touchdown. Peterson's longest career run.
He runs with such a physical presence that you don't expect him to have the breakaway speed like that. C.C. Brown has him dead to rights in the hole. He makes a move on him and then just runs away from him down the sideline. The guy is awesome.
Even Cliff Averill had the angle on him but couldn't catch him.
His prior long 73 yards against the Bears in 07. Peterson takes it 80 yards for a Vikings touchdown.
Just a great individual effort by Adrian Peterson. We talk about patience. Here's Jonathan Wade right here. Watch him. He's out of position. C.C. Brown, I'm going to take a sneak peek back inside. You leave that spot. There's the patience of bringing the blocker to the point, and then there's the strength of Adrian Peterson with the stiff arm. And then it's just a foot race down the sideline, and that's the amazing thing to me. Everybody knows how physical he runs, but that was just great breakaway speed.
Logan on the return. Logan finally wrestled out of bounds by Eric Frampton. 36 yards on the return. Peterson, 2 touchdowns today. Vikings by 14. Just under 3 minutes remaining, 3rd quarter here in Minneapolis. Following Adrian Peterson's 80-yard touchdown run, longest run of his career. Vikings lead 24-10. Hill in trouble, gets rid of it. There is a flag as Hill was hit late. Scheffler takes it out to midfield.
Holding, offense number 66. 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Stephen Peterman, his 2nd penalty.
You got to let him go on them screens.
Well, you got to hold. You got to get there and block a little bit before you release to the screen. But there's absolutely no reason to be called for a hold on a screen.
Yeah, he just stays with him, has his hand on the outside. Like we talked about earlier, you got them 4 eyes back there now, with the umpire in a different position.
1st and 20 following the penalty. Maurice Morris tried to bounce it outside. Nowhere to go. Another flag.
Holding, offense number 77. 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Well, Charles DeCharlis, the right tackle. So the Lions moving in the wrong direction. 2 consecutive penalties committed by their offensive line. From the 25 on 2nd and 20. Hill Under pressure, he was in the grasp. And Greenway having another terrific game for the Vikings. It's the season premiere of The Simpsons, and you won't believe who's coming to Springfield. It's the stars of Glee. Get ready for some singing and dancing on the most gleeful Simpsons season premiere ever. After tonight, on the only place for new episodes, right here on Fox. Hill in trouble on 3rd and 20. Down he goes. Back at the 20-yard line. Ray Edwards with the sack. And then a late shove to the left guard, Rob Sims. Jared Allen now involved with the quarterback, Sean Hill.
This is going to get
Sean Hill getting in there, huh?
You don't want to mess with Ray Edwards. He's been taking boxing lessons.
Yeah. Yeah, you see Brett Favre.
Look at Brett. Go get him, guys. Right behind everybody. That's a smart veteran right there, Darryl.
No, that's the first foul you've seen from him all day, though.
Smart place to be.
Both teams, after the play was over, those offset. The result of the play is 4th down. 4th down.
So after all that, Lions will punt it away.
No damage in yardage this afternoon on that melee there, but I'm sure there's going to be some envelopes coming from the NFL to the locker rooms of both of these teams this week.
I was surprised to see Sean Hill get in there. Mixed it up a little bit going after them offense and defensive line.
Harris punting from his own 10. Taken at the 36-yard line. Camarillo was down. Loss of 2 on the return. Isaiah Ekajulu with the tackle on special teams.
Jared, you're going right after Jared Allen and Sean Hill. Was the guy Tony?
Yeah, quarterbacks got to understand. Don't go after the defensive linemen. They're a little bit different, and they're gonna come at you. And Sean Hill wanted to stick it in there a little bit, and now he's going to have a fired-up defensive line coming at him.
You would never get involved with a quarterback, would you, Tony?
I'd be right there like Brett, just hiding behind everybody. No, I wouldn't. I'd stick it in there a little bit, have a little fun.
Brett Favre for the Vikings having some fun. Leading the Lions by 14. Start from their own 34. Favre firing on 1st down, complete to Harvin. There is a flag, 2 flags. Harvin gaining 6.
Yeah, this is getting silly now. They got to get control of the game.
Chris Houston yelling over at Greg Lewis.
The last one was offsetting. They need to get this one called one way or the other to get control of the game back.
There were fouls by both teams on the play. Pass interference, offense number 12. There was also illegal use of the hands, defense number 24. And there was a personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 23, defense. The penalty's offset. The down is replayed.
So Harvin, Jonathan Wade, and Chris Houston all flagged.
Well, it's still 1st and 10.
In essence, a duo.
Yeah. they need to find a way to make sure that one side is punished with a 15-yard penalty. So it's either first and 10, 15 yards from the spot, or it's first and 10, 15 yards from the original line of scrimmage. So, I mean, somebody has to at least be responsible for the actions that are going on the field right now. It's sloppy, and both teams have lost their composure.
Here's Peterson. As we approach 1 minute remaining in the third, we check in once again with Kurt Menefee. Kurt?
Well, a much crisper game in the Superdome between the Falcons and Saints. They keep going back and forth. This time is Drew Brees hooking up with Lance Moore for a 16-yard score. Moore, 2 touchdowns, 187 total yards going into the fourth quarter. They've needed them all. It's 21-17 right now. New Orleans on top. Kenny, Moose, and Goose.
Thanks, Kurt. Saints with that 14-9 win on the opening Thursday night of the season over the Vikings. After New Orleans beat Minnesota in the NFC Championship game last January. 2nd and 10. Far to the outside. And the catch is made by Clyde Saucer. And Clyde Saucer gains 8 out to the 42. So the Vikings start 0-2. They have Super Bowl aspirations. And Darrell, you were part of the first team that ever started 0-2 and then won the Super Bowl, the '93 Cowboys.
But ours was much easier to sort out than what Minnesota is facing. For us, Emmitt Smith was in a contract holdout, so we knew that once we got Emmitt back into the locker room, we were going to be okay, and that happened in week 3. For Minnesota, it's a little bit more difficult. Their big issue is not having Sidney Rice, and we're not quite sure. He says he's going to be able to be back right when the PUP time ends, which is 6 games in. Some people think more like 8.
Farm on 32 to Harvin for a first down. Percy Harvin out to the 47-yard line as this third quarter comes to an end. 3 teams have started 0-2 and won a Super Bowl. Vikings hope to become the 4th. The fourth quarter is coming up after these messages. Never know who you might find at a Vikings home game.
Is it Prince or the artist formerly known as Prince? Is he back to Prince? I think he's back to Prince. My wife saw him in concert one time, said one of the most talented musicians she's ever seen perform.
Perhaps we can send Goose up to find out.
There's a performer right there that I like.
It's more your style.
Yeah, absolutely.
First play of the fourth quarter. From the 47-yard line. The end around to Harvin. And Harvin takes it out to midfield for a gain of 3.
It's just good to see Percy Harvin, in the game at this point. Early in the game on the kickoff return came up. We thought he may have aggravated the hip, and then he was getting checked on the sideline, I think battling the migraines again. So just keep our fingers crossed that he stays healthy.
73 yards and a touchdown. It was Brett Favre's 499th career touchdown pass. Adrian Peterson with a pair of touchdown runs for the Vikings. Quick release from Favre. Harvin does a 360 and gains a couple down to the 48. So the Vikings on the move. And you're right, it is good to see Percy Harvin back on the field.
Yeah, well, kind of nervous when he was returning the kicks. If you've got one of your key players there on the offense, you're already down Sidney Rice. You want to make sure that you're kind of taking control and taking care of Percy Harvin. So I think one of these guys needs to step up and become a kick returner. I know he's explosive. I know he's got game-breaking ability, but the one thing you want to make sure is you have him late in the game through the course of the season. So I would like to see Brad Childress find somebody else to be returning his kicks for him.
Harvin returned 2 kicks for touchdowns last season. So far referred to the special teams magic we had as a team last year. Pass intended for Berrien, and there is a flag. Jonathan Wade on the coverage, and he can't believe it.
I think Jonathan Wade just restricts him from going after the ball.
Well, this is that back shoulder fade. It's one-on-one on the outside.
Interference defense, number 24. The ball is placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
I don't know. I think he has as much right to go and make a play on the ball as Bernard Berrien does. And it's a difficult spot for the defender to be in, especially when you can execute it as well as Brett Favre can. And I think that he had a right to be there. I didn't see a big shove. It was just, you stop, you break down, you reach back, you deflect the ball. I'm going to side with Jonathan Wade on that one.
The Vikings were called for 5 penalties in the first quarter, but since then the majority of the flags have been thrown against the Lions. 8 penalties called on Detroit today. From the 39, Favre going deep for Marion, just out of his reach. No flags.
Well, that's what we've been waiting for. A play downfield, and Marion just couldn't get to it.
Well, you can kind of set it up with the one prior to this with a little back shoulder throw. He actually catches Jonathan Wade trying to look back and find the ball, and Brett Favre just misses him by a couple of steps.
Favre now 21 of 28. One touchdown, 2 picks. 2nd and 10 from the Lions 39. 3 wide receivers for the Vikings. Favre again going deep, and this one is incomplete, intended for basket. C.C. Brown on the coverage.
One of the reasons they brought Hank Baskett in is because of the size, that jump ball ability at the point of the catch. Let's see what happens right here. You can see the height advantage. If he can stop and go up instead of allowing the ball to come in,
he doesn't get it at his highest point.
C.C. Brown's not going to have the opportunity to make a play. And here comes Ndamukong Suh. And let me tell you what, this guy is everything that we thought he was going to be coming out of Nebraska.
And more.
And I tell you what, Goose, I was so impressed with him as a person, too, when we met with him yesterday.
I'll tell you what, we haven't talked enough about this
kid.
kid.
Snap, timeout, Minnesota. That's their first.
Play clock was winding down. Vikings used their first timeout.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Farmers Insurance. We are insurance, we are farmers. By Coke Zero. Taste what's possible. And by DirecTV. Get the best quality picture and sound for your flat screen with DirecTV.
Minnesota Vikings with a 2-touchdown lead, looking for more. The 130th consecutive sellout in this building. Vikings have won back-to-back division titles, looking for their first win this season. 3rd down and 10 from the Lions 39. Favre's pass incomplete. It was behind the intended receiver, Greg Lewis.
Well, we have to compliment this Minnesota offensive line. Brett Favre has taken some shots today, but for the most part, they've done a good job against this Detroit front. Steve Hutchinson. And yeah, that's with Ryan Cook jumping in early in this game. Guy who's going to be coordinating all the protections. So that Minnesota offensive line, nice afternoon today.
Slowly punting from midfield. Will be pinned inside the 5. Early 4th quarter, 24-10 Vikings. Lions will start from their own 4-yard line, trailing by 2 touchdowns. Morris, gain of just 1. Well, tonight on Fox, Animation Domination is back with a night of season premieres and the stars of Glee on The Simpsons, Kanye West on The Cleveland Show, and a killer 1-hour Family Guy. It all starts at 8/7 Central tonight on Fox. Second down and 9. Hill out of his own end zone. Morris down. 3rd and long coming up, but first, another game break with Kurt.
And another touchdown at the Superdome. Falcons and Saints keep going back and forth. This time, Matt Ryan hooking up with Roddy White, put Atlanta on top, 24-21 in the 4th quarter. Back to the Metrodome and Kenny Moose and Deuce.
Thanks very much, Kurt. We'll have to listen to the Vikings fans with the Lions facing 3rd down and 10. Hill from out of the end zone once again. Morris tackled at the 10-yard line by Jimmy Kennedy. Lions go 3 and out and will punt it away.
A good hustle by Jimmy Kennedy. You turn and you retrace on the screen because it was set up well. Maurice Morris has 3 blockers out there in front. The timing wasn't all that great as he tried to get everything started, but it was the hustle by Jimmy Kennedy down the field that crushed that play down.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Retracing his steps after drawing a double team.
7th time Harris has come out to punt. This time from his own end zone.
Let him go! Let him go!
Taken at the 48 by Camarillo. Camarillo finally tackled at the 30. There's a flag back at the 43-yard line. 22 yards on the return by Greg Camarillo.
Well, that's 2 big punt returns that are going to be negated by penalties by the Minnesota Vikings.
Illegal block in the back by the receiving team, number 33, during the return. A 10-yard penalty is enforced from the spot of the foul. Minnesota keeps the ball, 1st down.
That's DeMarcus Sanford. Vikings back on offense when we come back.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Verizon, the official wireless service provider of the NFL.
He's got a lot of rings. Adrian Peterson on Friday tried on Goose's Super Bowl ring. Adrian said, I wouldn't mind a couple of those. Another big run by Peterson. He was ruled down, and there is a penalty marker as well.
Personal foul, clipping by the offense, number 62. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat, 1st down.
That's the center, Ryan Cook.
I haven't heard of a clipping call in a long time, Goose.
Yeah, that tripping, that doesn't happen very often.
No, the clip, the old-fashioned one. Let's see. There's 62. Can't get there. I'm gonna just tackle the back of those legs.
That's how you get somebody hurt.
Exactly. You got to stay off the back of the legs.
Yeah, if you can't get that block in front of him, I mean, you can't do that.
Clip by Cook on Julian Peterson. Forcing the Vikings back to the 40-yard line. 1st down and 17. Lions have outgained Peterson by only 10 yards today. Adrian with an 80-yard run earlier, longest of his career. As Favre's pass is off the hands of the intended receiver, Bernard Berrien.
There's some more of that frustration with these receivers. And I tell you what, he stands in the pocket. Here's something for young quarterbacks to watch. I think all the time they feel like, the pocket's collapsing on him. Let's take a look at some of the things that have happened to him today. I mean, Brett Favre has the right to feel as though he's not being protected today. He has taken some big hits during the course of the game. But on that last play, he just hangs in the pocket, trusts his offensive lineman around him. Doesn't panic, doesn't break contain.
He'll be in the ice tub tonight.
Oh, you ain't kidding. He is. He's been roughed up. I didn't realize it was that bad until we saw that reel.
Favre getting rid of it quickly to Greg Lewis. Lewis on to the 48. Vikings do have a bye next week, so he will have an extra week to rest up and spend in that hot tub. And then in 2 weeks, he will face the Jets, one of his former clubs.
I'll tell you what, we talked about Detroit Lions defensive line, and Ndamukong Suh. What a great game he's had today. I'm really impressed by the way he determines whether it's pass or run, gets his hands up when he gets the double. I mean, he looks like a veteran out there the way he's playing. He's going to be a great player here in the NFL.
He was 4, Goose, when Brett Favre started his first game. Favre moving to his right, can't find anyone, now throws left, and it's caught by Basket for a 1st down. Favre making something out of nothing, and then he finds Hank Baskett for an 18-yard completion.
You can't give Brett Favre that much time in the pocket, or he'll find somebody downfield. That's exactly what happened on this play. There he is in the pocket. He's moving around. His eyes are always downfield, looking at his receivers. He finds Hank Baskett, delivers the throw. Hank Baskett did a nice job also of covering that ball up, knowing the defenders are right around him.
Baskett's first catch as a Viking. Favre with completions to 9 different receivers today. New set of downs from the Lions 34. Here's Peterson up the middle, down to the 28-yard line. Gain of 6. The Vikings' next game against the Jets will be on a Monday night, October 11th, the day after Favre's 41st birthday. So this is his final game as a 40-year-old.
And that's the amazing thing to me. And we've seen how tough it's been on him physically today. He's got knocked around in the pocket, but mentally, you know, the grind of an NFL season, you know, going from Monday to Saturday and on the practice field, and you know, that's the part that I marvel at when you're talking about how long his career has been and the level that he's playing at right now. We've always known about how physically tough he is, but I don't think people appreciate how mentally strong he has to be.
Second down and 4, off the play fake. Favre in trouble. Down he goes, back at the 37-yard line, sacked by the former Seahawk first-round draft pick Lawrence Jackson.
That's what a defensive end needs to do, is stay outside, make sure the quarterback doesn't come out on the boot, corral him up, and get him down on the ground.
Second sack of Favre today.
Pretty good play by Lawrence Jackson right there. He actually squeezes Jim Kleinsaucer down, the tight end, who's going to try and release into the flat on that bootleg, and still has the athletic ability to get back up the field and pressure Brett.
4th down and 12. Keep it on the ground with Gerhardt. Gerhardt lost the football. And it was recovered by Louis Delmas. The 3rd Vikings turnover today. Knocked free by Jackson, who had the sack. Toby Gerhardt, the rookie out of Stanford, committing the Vikings' 3rd turnover.
Well, he's got the ball squeezed tight. This is just a good play by Amari Spivey. Watch 42 come in. He gets his helmet right on the football, and it comes loose. Sometimes when you're a rookie in the NFL playing the running back spot, you don't appreciate how aggressive guys at the NFL level are at going after the ball. But that was good ball security by Toby Gerhardt. He had it tucked away. It's just one of those plays where the defender knocks it loose.
So the Lions trailing by 2 touchdowns, start from their own 22-yard line. Hill with time. He throws, pass intended for Bryant Johnson. Scott Linehan has lost a couple of starters. Javid Best, except for the toe injury earlier. So Maurice Morris remaining in the game at running back, and Dylan Gandy replacing Stephen Peterman at right guard for the Lions. 2nd and 10 from the 22. Hill over the middle, out to the 28-yard line. Derek Williams. Chad Greenway made the tackle as we hit the midway point of quarter number 4. Third down and 4, 3 wide receivers. Hill over the middle, and a good second effort by Morris, picking up the 1st down and more out to the 44-yard line. Gain of 16 on the completion from Sean Hill to Maurice Morris.
Good job of catching that ball, and then great balance with the run after the catch. So right there, gets that hand down, pops up. Good hustle down the field by E.J. Henderson. Almost got one knocked loose.
Penalty markers, play blown dead.
Unabated to the quarterback, defense number 91. 5-yard penalty. It's 1st down.
Ray Edwards. Looked like Morris was shaken up on that previous play. There he is. He's been replaced by Aaron Brown.
Looks like his head hit that turf pretty hard.
Lions already without Best. Kevin Smith not active, still making his way back from surgery. So Aaron Brown in the backfield. First down and 5 from the 49-yard line. Hill complete. Calvin Johnson in Vikings territory. Helmet comes off. Johnson picks up a first down.
Well, he goes long stretches without the ball coming his way. See how big and physical he is off the release with Chris Cook.
Only the 4th catch today by Johnson. Under 6 minutes remaining. Lions have capitalized on both previous Vikings turnovers, scoring all 10 of their points. Looking to do it once again. Pettigrew down to the 34-yard line, gain of 9.
Well, he had a couple of big drops early in the game. Hasn't really had another opportunity. Brandon Pettigrew, after a great week last week against the Philadelphia Eagles.
Pettigrew 3 receptions today. 2nd down and 1. From the Minnesota 34. Hill complete. It's Pettigrew again for a first down to the Vikings 29-yard line. Chad Greenway made the tackle.
Again, some of the resiliency that the coaching staff talked to us about this Detroit Lion group. One of the big pluses they feel when they talk about intangibles about this team is their mental toughness.
Maurice Morris back in the game. From the Vikings 29. Good protection for Hill. He throws, and the pass a bit high. Incomplete, intended for Bryant Johnson. Medea Williams on the coverage.
Eating up a lot of the clock in this drive, you know, even though they're going hurry up offense. It seems to me like, you know, they might not have enough time to go and, even if they do get a touchdown, to go for another one here.
Well, they'll be counting on that defense to come out and make a quick stop. They got to get in the end zone first, Goose.
2nd and 10 from the 29. Hill under pressure. He throws out of bounds.
They squared off earlier in the game. A little melee we had. Here comes Jared Allen free right to Sean Hill. Little twist inside.
Sean Hill trying to get the hit to the face of the quarterback.
Third down and 10. Hill's pass is caught by Calvin Johnson. And a nice tackle made at the 22-yard line by Antoine Winfield. Lions in 4-down territory. 4th and 2 from the 21.
One of the things that Detroit has tried to do with Calvin Johnson is kind of move him across the formation, because if he plays on the outside as the flanker or the split end, it's kind of easy to get him into some double coverage with some help over the top. You get him into that slot, he has to run some different routes, but this is the first game plan where he's had a lot of opportunities across the formation.
Ball on 4th and 2, complete to Calvin Johnson for a Lions first down. To the 13-yard line, a gain of 8, so the Lions stay alive.
We saw him in the slot on the last play. Now he's going to go outside as the split end. He's just a big physical receiver.
He got a big club there with his left arm.
His 6th catch today, 3 have come on this drive. At the Vikings 13. Hill's pass is caught by Scheffler, and he's tackled by Winfield at the 9 after a gain of 4.
what's kind of been the MO the first 2 weeks of the season. You go back to the Chicago game and the Philadelphia game, and Calvin Johnson will disappear for parts of the game, and then near the end, all of a sudden, he becomes your featured guy again. That's what's got all the Detroit Lions fans wondering why we can't keep him involved during the course of the game more frequently.
Shaun Hill is 8 for 11 on this drive. 2nd down and 6 from the Vikings 9. Hill is hit as he throws, and the pass was caught out of bounds by Calvin Johnson. There's a flag following the late hit on Hill.
Passer, defense, number 93, contact to the helmet, half the distance to the goal, 1st down.
Well, we've talked about Brett Favre and his toughness in the pocket. Let's take a look at Shaun Hill too. He needs to be complimented. Jerome Felton comes over, gets Ray Edwards, but doesn't get him all the way down. And then you got the safety coming from the backside.
He sort of gets hit into it.
It's not
Edwards,
not Kevin Williams. It's actually Ray Edwards that they're going to flag on that one.
Remaining. Hill looking end zone. He throws, and it is picked off by Ben Lieber. Wrestled out of bounds by Rob Sims.
The frustration on Dominic Raiola right there. I've been watching him since the interception happened. Calvin Johnson's in the slot. That's who you're going to look to. Actually looks like he was looking for Maurice Morris coming from the outside in as the running back. And Ben Lieber did not carry in. It's a zone coverage, so he just sits down in that zone, and Shaun Hill throws it right to him.
Lieber's 5th career interception. Vikings take over with 2:42 remaining. From their own 18-yard line, Adrian Peterson. Out of the backfield by Ndamukong Suh.
It's a couple of big turnovers the first 2 weeks, and again today in the red zone by Shaun Hill. One of the things that Jim Schwartz talked to him about this week was, hey, we got to be better. When we get down into the red zone, we can't give up that possession on a turnover.
Lions use their first time out. Weekdays make lunchtime your prime time, where you can watch one-of-a-kind sports shows online from your computer. Log on to foxsports.com. Check out new shows Monday through Friday at 1 Eastern. Tomorrow, the after party with the Glaze, Jay Glazer, as he chats with the biggest performers from today's games. Get ready for another helping of Lunch with Benefits, Season 2 on foxsports.com. Remaining. 2nd and 10. Favre incomplete. He's headed for Harvin. Brett Favre, as we alluded to earlier, 17-0 at home against the Lions. 16-0 with the Green Bay Packers. A win last season here in Minnesota.
But always tough games. Always tough games. And we went through the series. You take a look back over the last 10 years with the 20 games. You see the 18-2 record, and you think that, well, Minnesota's probably just kind of controlled the flow of those games for the last decade. But all but one of them, pretty tough football games.
Peterson turns on the Jets, picks up a 1st down and more. There's a penalty marker. Back at the 33-yard line, Peterson takes it into Lions territory. Gain of 36.
Holding, offense, number 87. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat 3rd down.
Bernard Berrien.
Well, I tell you, the receivers have not helped dispel any concerns this afternoon for the Minnesota Vikings. Hank Basket coming in. Bernard Berrien, a big penalty here. Looks like a guy just running out of gas. I hope Adrian's all right. He went down kind of awkward.
His foot got stuck on that turf there for a second. He won't let that slow him down, though.
Peterson remains on the field. His 21st career 100-yard game, and he's only played 49 games.
Well, he's going to have to hold down the fort for a while, too. They're going to have to rely on that offensive line and Adrian Peterson until Brett Favre and this receiving corps can get some things worked out.
His 80-yard run earlier, his 10th career run of 50 or more yards. He has 2 of the 3 Vikings touchdowns. 3rd down and 10. Here's Peterson. And this time he's forced out. So the Vikings send out the punting unit with 2:18 on the clock.
I don't think they found the magic in the bottle this year in game 3. I know that Brett talked to us about last year against San Francisco, and all of a sudden everything kind of came together, and they had this great confidence coming off that last second victory over the 49ers. I don't think that's the case this year. I think there's still a ton of questions left unanswered about this Minnesota offense.
I agree. Sidney Rice out at least another 3 games, as you mentioned. Fair catch called for by Logan at the 33-yard line.
You know, even when Sidney Rice gets back, they're still going to need some time to go and get their timing down with each other. Brett and Sidney. Absolutely.
Brett Favre started his first game against the Lions back in November of '92. His Vikings leading by 2 touchdowns today. Thanks in large part to the efforts of Adrian Peterson. From the 33-yard line, Sean Hill. Complete to Tony Scheffler, gain of 5. And that should take us to the 2-minute warning here in Minneapolis. Welcome back with the Vikings leading the Lions 24-10. 2 minutes remaining. 2nd down and 5 for the Lions from their own 38-yard line. Hill throwing to his left, complete for a 1st down to Morris. And he takes it out close to midfield. The Detroit Lions nearly pulled to within a touchdown on their last possession, but Hill was intercepted in the end zone by Ben Lieber. Still trailed by 2 scores. Hill on 1st down fires over the middle looking for Bryant Johnson. 90 seconds on the clock. Great job by our entire crew today, led by our producer Barry Landis, director Michael Frank, associate directors Jeremy Green and Darren Foster, associate producer Chirag Devaskar, our technical producer David M. Hill, technical director Beepin Vidge. Studio show produced by Scott Ackerson, directed by Bob Levy. 2nd and 10 from the 49. Hill moving to his right, throws complete to Scheffler. Scheffler down the sideline. And finally forced out of bounds at the Vikings 27 after picking up about 25 yards.
I think this is a different Detroit Lions team. I think that they've demonstrated over the course of the first 3 weeks of the season that they are a resilient group and they want to put the pass behind it. But until that gentleman right there, Matthew Stafford, gets back on the field, I don't know if we can really judge where they are at this time. And part of that mental toughness is being able to function behind Sean Hill and having him be able to step in at that backup role to kind of bounce back last week when Nate Burleson, your number 2 receiver, goes out on the first play of the game. So they've demonstrated to people there's a different mindset, but we still haven't seen them break through. And we talk about it all the time. It is so hard to win a game in the NFL. There's so many different things that can happen to you through the course of the game. And right now, Jim Schwartz's team are just making too many mistakes during the 60 minutes.
And of course, the Lions did not win a game 2 years ago under Rod Marinelli. 2 wins, both at home last year. Started this season 0-2, although they very well could have won either game. A couple of close losses to the Bears and Eagles. They've lost 12 straight here in Minneapolis. 21 consecutive road losses overall. Hill complete inside the 20-yard line down to the 16. Pettigrew, another Lions first down. Detroit calling timeout with 1:09 remaining. Well, next week, Fox brings you doubleheader action. Many of you will see the Lions and the Green Bay Packers. And then in the second half of your doubleheader, Donovan McNabb against the Philadelphia Eagles. Redskins and the Eagles in Philly. It all begins at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific with the Ford Fox NFL pregame show.
Donovan McNabb going back to Philadelphia. That ought to be something.
And it will not get much easier for these Lions heading up to Green Bay.
Absolutely not. A team that a lot of people started to keep an eye on as we got close to camp, and then their performance through the preseason. The Green Bay Packers, could be the class of the NFC right now. Not taking away anything from the Saints. They're the defending champions.
Hill to Pettigrew. And the Saints are in overtime. They tied the game late. Falcons led 24-21. Saints tied it in the final minute. They are in overtime in New Orleans. Packers will be in action tomorrow night in Chicago. Both teams 2-0. Second down and 4 from the Vikings 10. Hill, pump fake. Now he throws, deflected, and intercepted by Antoine Winfield, and that will do it. Third Lions turnover, 22nd career pick for the 2-time Pro Bowler Winfield, and Favre is going to make it 18-0 in the regular season at home against Detroit.
Tony Scheffler working in the slot against Antoine Winfield. He picks it up off the deflection. That's one of those situations. Sean Hill's got to realize what he has there. He has tight end versus cornerback. There's going to be a big size advantage. Yeah, let him come a little bit more. Maybe that, in my opinion, that ball came out a little bit too quick. Let the route define itself and then try and take advantage of Tony Scheffler's height advantage over Antoine Winfield.
So the Minnesota Vikings will head to the bye week following their first victory. Lions will drop to 0-3. A couple of former teammates. Corey Williams with the interception of Favre earlier led to a Lions score. But the Vikings are going to prevail, sending the Lions to their 22nd consecutive road loss and their 13th consecutive defeat here in Minneapolis. So a bye next week for Brad Childress and the Vikings. Time permitting, we're going to send you to New Orleans, where the Saints and the Falcons are in overtime, tied at 24. Vikings with a 24-10 victory. Brett Favre, career touchdown pass number 499. And 2 touchdown runs by Adrian Peterson, including a career-long 80-yard run. And the Vikings win their 13th consecutive game here at home against the Lions. So time permitting, we'll take you to the Saints and the Falcons. But first, we'll return to Minneapolis after these messages.